if you sort of privatize authoritarianism, totalitarianism, we call this fascism. It's not actually different from communism except in methodology. Methodologically, the international socialists go about this by actually collectivizing everything, nationalizing industries, collectivizing farms, and so forth.
Massively killing anyone who disagrees.
And they have to kill millions of people in the process, as you've seen in China, as you've seen in Cambodia, as you've seen in Russia. But the actually more successful approach to this that has been adopted by the extreme left wing of the Democratic Party is properly called fascism, or as it was called in one country, National Socialism, in which you actually leave people the appearance of ownership, just not the reality of it. The number one country on the planet that practices this today, by the way, is actually China, which is, in a sense, aping what Lenin did in the 1920s with the new economic policy. When the economy of Russia was in the toilet because of the Civil War, Lenin realized, well, we got to do a little capitalism to be able to get things revved up again before we, kill everybody and take their stuff. And so you're seeing that again. The fallout of the nightmare of the Cultural Revolution gave you an environment in which Deng Xiaoping would increasingly liberalize. And people in the United States and the West generally took this as movement toward democracy. It's nothing of the sort. It's developing the wealth to be able to take on and defeat the West. And then, if you read Xi Jinping, if you read all these guys, they could not be plainer that the minute they reach their goal, they're recollectivizing everything. All of this so-called capitalism goes away.
Well, and that's the funny thing is here we're kind of voting for it or allowing it to happen, not just with our elections, political elections, but we're watching it happen in the corporate boardroom after corporate boardroom. Instead of electing great directors like Gil Amelio who want to serve shareholders, we're electing stakeholder, woke capitalist types, and they're not capitalists by any means. They're literally taking control of the companies to serve the collective, and that's fascism.
Stakeholder capitalism is nothing of the sort. Stakeholder capitalism is what is being practiced in China, where you've got a board, sure, but there are a couple guys in the back of the room that they may not even tell you their names, but they have a veto over everything. And that's what you're seeing with ESG investing in the United States now. Increasingly, you have people who are literally opposed to the very existence of the company who are making decisions. And that will increasingly, if the left gets its way, be imposed at the governmental level. That's certainly what we saw in Germany, where all corporate board members were appointed by the state. And that's the direction that this is heading.
So what's the solution? How do we solve that?
Well, the immediate solution is to use every bit of firepower we currently have to defend liberty. And the biggest firepower we have is our money. I mean, the fact is there are trillions of dollars of invested and investable capital that are just being thrown at whatever looks like it might have a good return. Well, okay, that's fine, but be a little more strategic. You can make a great return while investing according to, they have their environmental, social justice, corporate governance agenda. Why not liberty, security, values? And actually promote the kinds of companies doing the kinds of things that buttress liberty and advance the United States. And at the same time, you actually have to look at this from a legal point of view too. What Facebook is doing in conjunction, Twitter, with the Biden administration is just fascism. There's no other word for it. It is the government outsourcing totalitarian controls to a private organization. Well, we have case law on that. The Marsh versus Alabama decision leaps to mind, where a company town, one company owned everything in the town. And the Supreme Court held in 1945 that you're functioning as a quasi-governmental entity, therefore you are bound by the Constitution and Bill of Rights. And that has to be applied to these social media giants.